All right, so for this video, this is if you were absent on Monday the 14th, which is a red day, or it is the 15th, which is a white day. This is going to be for reading or writing class. So if you end up having reading and writing both on a red day, you're going to do both parts of this because we're going to kind of separate it out like we did last quarter one time. We did class 1 and class 2. So I'll explain different things to you. But essentially what's happening over the course of this next week or so, is you're going to do your final for informational. So I'm going to show you kind of what's going to happen with what you're going to see when you get back to school. But I'm going to be giving out this is the information for it. So this is like the expectations and what's going to happen with your RATS informational final. The article is about rats. That's why it says rats, by the way. So this kind of tells you your to-do list. I'm going to show you where you can access this online as well. This is a pink piece of paper that you're going to see when you get back to school as well. Again, this is just like the to-do information on what needs to happen in the sense of everything that takes place on it. Okay, on the back of this, and again, I'm going to show you where to access this in Schoology here in a second, but these are going to be the questions that you're going to have to answer on the entire part of this assignment. So again, this assignment is going over, this is your informational final. So everything that you have done in reading class and in writing class is going to be on this final. For instance, you have SCIF and central idea. You're going to have text structures. You're going to have text features. Okay. So let me go ahead and just show you where you can access this so you can see this a little bit better. If you go to reading and writing course in Schoology, you're going to see where it says assigned to me. If you open that, it has the RATS final information assignment. You're going to click on that. And this has lots of information in here. Okay. So this is the instruction page that I just showed you on the pink one that we're going to give out here in school. But this is the online version. So what you can do is you can open this and then you can go through and you can actually see what you're going to have to do. So I'm going to kind of read through this so you can see what's going to happen. But you're essentially going to go down the row. Okay, so you're going to start at 1, go all the way to 10. You are not going to get done today. Even if you have class 1 and then also class 2 today, so you have reading and writing today, you are not going to get 100% done with this assignment. Okay? All right, so it says, to start, you should have 2 papers. This one, so that's what you already have. And then you're going to get the article, which I will show you that. To get the article, it's right here. You're going to click on article, RATS. It's going to open up. This is the article that you're going to be reading here in a second. Okay? So you'll see that here in just a minute. We'll get back to that after we look at the next part. Okay? So then it says you're going to read and annotate the articles U and A on the yellow paper. Okay. So essentially what you're going to do is your first step is you're actually going to go to the RATS article, this one right here, and I want you to read this. You're not annotating it yet. You're just reading it to get that first initial, first draft read in the sense of what this article is about. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and read U. Make sure you're paying attention. What I would do is just make sure, like what we've done in class, pay attention to all the things that you're seeing in the sense of text features that are helpful to you. Maybe also kind of go, like talk about text structures, which again, we're not annotating yet, so you're just going to read it. Now, if you have access to a printer, that would actually be really great for you to print this because that's going to help you later on when you actually do need to annotate the actual text. Okay, so that's your first step. You're going to read this and kind of go through that. Okay, just to get a first initial reaction to this article. You're going to read U, which is this one. And then A is also attached to it as well. And so you're going to read that one too. Okay, so there's 2 articles within there. All right, then it says with a group, which may be a little bit different for you just since you don't have a group, you're going to annotate the questions that you will answer for your grade. Okay, so what that is that is attached to this link right here. So if you scroll down, this is what we're talking about, questions you will answer. So again, if you have access to a printer, I would print this so that way you can annotate this a little bit easier for yourself so you can find that. Okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to annotate the questions. So what we did, what Mrs. Othat and I did, is we put them into the different things that you're going to have to answer. based on the things that we have taught you this quarter. So, so far we've done SCIF and central idea. This is the question that you're going to have to answer with SCIF and central idea. So what we're asking you to do is to read this question. So that way you know what you're going to have to answer once you get to this particular page for the assignment. Okay? So you're going to read the question and you're going to annotate it. And so maybe like circle and underline things, just a reminder of, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to have one thing out of the two. I'm supposed to use page 26. So look at the different things that would be helpful for you as someone, or like when you're trying to answer this question. Okay. We've also talked about text structures. So again, the questions that are underneath here, all of this right here, these are the questions you're going to have to answer along with text structures. So this is all that writing piece. So that's just, so if you have Mrs. Oath out for writing, like make sure like you're doing this particular thing and you're looking at those questions. These are the questions you're going to have to answer for text structures. So again, what you're going to do is you are going to annotate this. You're going to piece together and look at different things that you need to include. Maybe underline, circle things, highlight things as a reminder to you to go, oh yeah, I need this. I need to make sure I have 8 text structures. I need to make sure that they're different text structures. So being able to go through and read the actual explanation is really important. Looking at page 28 through 31, that's an important thing to remember to go, oh yeah, I can use my notebook. Because again, when you're doing this, you can use your notebook to get information from this. Okay? So you're just looking at the questions that you're going to have to answer. You're not answering right now. You're not answering the questions at all. All you're doing is you're looking at the questions that you're going to have to answer, and you're annotating those questions so it allows you to understand the question before you start to answer it. Okay? All right. And then the last thing that we talked about this quarter is text features. So again, these questions right underneath here are the questions that you're going to have to annotate because you will eventually need to answer those questions. Okay? So again, if you have access to a printer, it would be very, very important for you to print this information instructions page. So this one right here, so you can annotate those questions easier. And then it's also a good thing if you can print this article. Okay. If you can't, I mean, you can always write annotations and things on the side. Same thing with this. You can also write annotations like on like a Google Doc, or you can make a copy of this and maybe highlight, circle things that way. That could be something else you could do. So if you wanted to, that's actually a really good thought. If you do not have access to a printer and you're like, hey, I need to annotate these questions, you could just file, make a copy of this, and then at that point you can go through and highlight things. So that may be helpful for you. So if you don't have access to a printer, you can do it that way. Okay? All right. So anyways, your job, your task for this class 1 experience is that, so if you only have reading or writing today, this is the only thing you're really doing today. Okay? The only thing you're really doing today is you're going to take the instruction sheet here. You're going to go to the questions you're going to have to answer, and you're going to annotate these questions so that you know what you have to answer. And then you also need to make sure that you read this article. So that's class 1. Okay? So if you have reading or writing today, you're going to do that. If you have reading and writing today, you're going to do the class 2 portion as well. Okay? But class 1, you're annotating the questions, which is on this information instruction sheet. And then you're also going to read the article U and ah. Okay? No annotations on that yet. All right. The next thing that you're going to have to do looking at this says number 4. In the article, label at least 8 different examples of different text structures: description, sequencing, compare, cause and effect, problem solution. There should be 1 example of 4 of the 5 structures and should see labels throughout the piece, not just at the beginning. Okay, so kind of like what we did, and I'm going to show you this just so you can see it. With Vampires of the Deep, we actually did this already. And this was something that I talked about in class. So I'm going to show you in my notebook like what we kind of did here. This is what you're going to eventually do on your particular, or on your U article. Okay. So essentially what we did with Vampires of the Deep, we went in through this and we annotated. So you can see here we made a key with different colors, and then we went through and we annotated the text in the sense of finding examples of cause and effect, finding examples of sequencing, finding examples of description. So finding those examples and underlining it and like noting it in some way, especially in the fact of using this color coding, that color coding system seemed to work very well for a lot of you. So that we should be able to see this. So with your U article, it should look like this. You should have the different structures annotated so we can see that you found those different structures. You should also work to find different text features, which I'm going to go back to this instruction sheet here. So again, right here, you're labeling at least 8 examples of different text structures. Okay, so again, that's kind of what I talked about, how we underline in the actual text, oh, this is sequencing, this is description, this is problem solution, this is cause and effect. So you have those different things labeled, okay? So that's your annotations that you're making on the actual text for you, all right? Then your next thing is in the article, you're going to label 6 different text features in the article, okay? If you need to, you can use page 36 to help you to see those examples. You can actually find all of these pages. I'll show you that in a second. But all these pages, since you're at home, if you don't have your notebook, there's actually information in Schoology to find that, and I'll show you that in a second. But label is 6 different. So again, going back to what we did with Vampires of the Deep, is we actually went in and we labeled it. So we said, hey, this is the title, this is a map, this is a heading, this is a photograph. So what you'll need to do on the U article is you're going to have to label at least 6 different text features. Okay? Different text features. All right? Okay. So that could be part of class 1. It just depends on how you spend your time. But then we're going to kind of see what's going on from there. Okay? So what we've done so far is you have taken this whole, okay, here's my informational final. I have these questions I have to answer. You're annotating those questions so that way you remember and you're looking at and you're actually reading the questions on things that you're going to have to answer as you're doing this entire final. You annotated those questions because you've underlined, you've highlighted things, you've kind of given yourselves reminders as to, oh yeah, I can use my notebook. I can use different page numbers to help me. I can use different examples in my notebook to help me. Okay, so you're annotating those questions. That's going to be worth some points as well. So make sure you do annotate those questions. Okay. Then outside of that, you opened up the RATS article and you have read the article. You should have done a first draft read. That's just reading it. You're not annotating it yet, but you're just reading it. Okay. Then the next step is for you to actually go in and annotate the text. This is why it would be important if you could print this text. Okay. So you're going to annotate. What you're annotating for, again, just a reminder, is you're annotating it the very same way that we did with Vampires of the Deep. You're going to label at least 8 examples of different text structures. That would be description, sequencing, compare, cause and effect, problem solution, just like we did with Vampires of the Deep, how we have those different explanations there. We use this color coding system to help us. Okay? Because again, when you turn this in, we're going to take a grade on those annotations that you have 8 of them. Okay. All right. Then after that, in the article, you're going to label at least 6 different text features. So again, going back to this, 6 different text features, you're labeling the different text features that you see. And there should be 6 different ones. Okay. 6 different ones. All right. So yeah, 6 different. Then at that point, you're going to choose, this kind of gets into your class 2 section, because I think most of the kids, I don't know yet, but could be able to get done with those in class 1. I mean, remember class 1 is if you have reading or writing class today. Class 2 is if you have reading and writing class today. Okay? So, sorry, I'm thinking. All right, so class 2... Sorry, I'm thinking it out loud or in my head. Because if you have reading and writing on the same day, I should say it that way. If you have reading and writing on the same day, you're going to do class 1 and class 2 today. If you have reading and writing on opposite days, like you have one on a red day, one on a white day, you're only going to do class 1 today, and then you'll do class 2 the next day. Okay? So kind of keep that in mind as well. Because then you're going to get down to this next one, step 6. Step 6 is you're going to have to choose where you want to start. Because again, you have 3 different sections that you're going to be answering today. You have SCIF and Central Idea, you have text structures, and you have text features. Now, I'm going to show you what you're going to notice when you get back to school so you can see this. So the pink paper is your instruction sheet, which is what you guys just got done doing. This tells you the different steps you need to take. And on the back are the questions that you should annotate in the fact of these are the questions I'm answering. Okay. The article is a yellow piece of paper, which will have those annotations on it. If you're at home and you printed, these will just be white, and that's okay. All right. So this will be that. Then what's going to happen at school is we have 3 different parts to this assignment. These are the 3 different parts we were talking about. We have SCIF and Central Idea, because again, those are the questions you have to answer. Those are the questions that were on the back here that you already annotated. Okay, so SCIF. This is the same question. You annotated it, and then now you're going to have to actually answer the question. Okay. The next one is text structures. It's green. And you'll see this when you get back to school is that one is green. And then again, the questions that were on that section, those are the questions that you annotated that go, oh yeah, text structures, I have to answer these questions, and then you see it here. Okay? Or then we have text features. So again, that's on blue. But this part right here is what you annotated in the sense of, hey, I'm going to have to answer these questions. Here we go. Here's the actual questions. And this one is front and back. Okay? All right. So I'm going to show you where this is located because this is going to be for class 2 people. So class 2 people is if you have reading and writing on the same day. So if you have reading and writing class today, this video that you're watching, if you have reading and writing on the 14th on a red day, if you have both, you're going to do class 2. Okay? If you only have reading today, you're only doing class 1. All right, so to show you where to access all of this, if you go back to the RATS final info assignment, you're going to see that there's these things right here. Only if told to. I'm telling you, you're going to choose one of these. So if you're in class 2 right now, you're going to choose one of these to start with. So you're going to choose, if you're going to start with SCIF, start with SCIF and Central Idea. If you're going to start with text structures, start with text structures. If you're going to start with text features, start with text features. So whichever one you end up choosing to start with is fine. I'm going to go ahead and just do this one just because it's first. So what I would do is I would open this up. And what I would do is I would look at this assignment. And then I'm going to start to answer this assignment. Now, what I would do is taking this information page where you actually did the annotations to this question, I would have this ready and available so you can see it, because this is the exact same question that is right here. Okay? So you're going to have to use all pieces that you've done so far to kind of get started on this assignment. You're going to use the annotations that you made on the actual questions, on the instructions page. You're going to use the information that you read through the actual article with and made those annotations with, because that may help you with SCIF as well. And you're going to answer this question. Okay? So SCIF, both articles in the table below. So you're going to SCIF them. You can use page 26 to help you. And then all you're going to do is you're going to delete these words and write it here. So you can put S, and then you're going to tell me where it's from. You're going to put CI, and you're going to fill out the Central Idea. You're going to put F, and tell me what that is. The other F, and tell me what that is. Okay? So you're going to do that for U, which is this first portion, U. But then you're also going to do SCIF for A, which is this one right here. Okay? So you're going to do 2 different SCIFs. Okay? Then down here it says to choose one of the articles that you SCIFed above, and you're going to write a complete Central Idea for that one piece that you chose. Again, you can use page 26 to help you. You'll delete these words and type it here. And then when you get back to school, you'll print this and you'll give it to us. That way we know you're done with that particular one. Okay? My guess is you might be able to get another one done, but this is just something you could do. Going back to this, if you get done with SCIF and Central Idea, you can start another one. I'm not for sure exactly the time frame in the sense of how much you can get done for class 1 and class 2. But class 1 is going to be just getting all the information ready to answer the questions. Class 2, you're actually starting to answer these 3 different things. So I would get at least 1 done, would be my thing. Because I think what we're trying to do too is like by the end of class 4, you should have most of it done. Okay? So I know it's a lot of information. It's kind of scrambled around a little bit. But I'm going to go back through it just one last time just so you kind of understand exactly what's going on, just to kind of recap what's happening. But before I do that, before I recap that, I'm going to make sure that you understand where you can actually find all of the information that is in your notebook to help you. So if you needed assistance in the sense of I need a reminder because I don't have my notebook, I need to go back to this. So I could go to this green folder for notes. It actually has all the different page numbers on here for you. So if on the instruction sheet it says, hey, use page 26 to help you, you can actually click on this link and it will show you the notes that are in our notebooks. And you can use those to help you. So even if you're like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have my notebook. Well, you do, sort of, because it's all online. So when it references a page number in the instructions or in the question, you can go back to Schoology and find that different page number to help you. Okay? All right. To recap, what's happening is if you have reading and writing on the same color day, you're going to do class 1 and class 2. If you have reading on one day and writing on the other day, you're only going to do class 1 right now. I'm saying this different. I feel like you should have class 1 and class 2 done. Anyways, okay. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to have RAT's final information. This is the information that you need to pull out. So you're going to have this open. You have your instruction sheet. Your instruction sheet looks like this. This tells you exactly what needs to get done. Okay, so for class 1, if you do all like the first steps for class like 1 through 5, 1 through 5 should be class 1. So if you get done, if you have class 1, you need to do that for 1 through 5. Okay, then if you have class 2, you're starting on number 6. So if you have number 6, like if you have class 2, that's number 6. That's what you're going back to, the sense of finding those. Only if told to, you're going to start on these. You're going to open one of them and you're going to use the information that you've already done with the instructions page and the article, and you're going to start to answer those questions. Okay, so this is kind of what's going on. This is your information. This is the instructions. Class 1, you should get the 2 papers. That means you're getting this reflection sheet printed. That means you're also getting the RATS article printed. If you don't have access to a printer, you can get it back when you get back to school. You're going to read and annotate the article. The article, again, looks like this. So you're going to read this. Okay? All right. And then you need to also read and annotate the questions that are attached to this sheet. So these are the questions you'll have to answer. So you're going to read them and annotate them so that way you know what you need to do. This, again, annotation here is going to be a grade for your final grade for reading and writing. So make sure you do that. And then the article, you are annotating for those 8 different examples of structures. You're also labeling 6 different text features, just like we did. Again, I'm going to show you with Vampires of the Deep. So your annotations for you should look very similar to this. You should be able to see that color coding system because that was really helpful, again, for a lot of you. And you're annotating, finding at least 8 structures, and you should have 4 different ones. Okay? And then after that, you're choosing where to start. This is class 2. You're choosing where to start. You're going back to this. You're going to choose one of these, and you're going to use the information you've done so far in order to answer those questions. Okay? All right. That's kind of all I have for you. I know that was a lot of information, but I want you to, if you get confused, you want to go back through it, do you want to see something with it, go back through this video and re-listen to what I said. If you have other questions, you can email me or Mrs. Othout, and we can help you through that. But essentially, like, you're doing 1 through 6 if you have both classes. Okay? So class 1, class 2, that's kind of what's happening. All right. So 1 through 5, you need to make sure that you're getting done. These steps right here, you should make sure you get those done no matter what. And then after that, you're finding where you want to start and you're starting. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to look at anything yet because you'll get that information in Schoology. If you finish with that page, you want to reread. You want to make sure your answers make sense. You want to make sure you use complete sentences. You want to check for basic grammar. There's a checklist on it. That's fine. And then you're going to turn it into us when you get back to school. Then you're going to repeat for the other 2 skills. Okay? A lot of information. I don't really know what your questions are. So if you have questions, please email. Again, watch this video, pause things, come back to it, listen to my instructions. That's what we got for you. Okay? All right. Good luck. Email us if you have a question. And that's all we have so far.